the love score reverse doesn't exist. In my opinion, the whole idea of a love score reverse is kind of stupid, which may kind of seem like a bit much, and a lot of you in the moment probably wouldn't agree with me, but hear me out. So for anyone that doesn't know, although I'm pretty sure everyone does, a love score reverse is the idea that Adrien will stop being in love with Ladybug and is only in love with Marinette, and Marinette will stop being in love with Adrien and will only be in love with Cat Noir, which in a sense is true, but also in another sense is completely false. And one of the biggest reasons why I would consider it to be false is mainly the wording of it all. Because here's the thing, and I cannot express this enough, Adrien has been in love with Marinette since the very beginning. Literally the whole show has been about him falling for her more and more, and showing the development of his feelings towards her, so saying he finally started to fall for her is wrong, because he's already been falling for her since the beginning. He's just now starting to actually realize his feelings for Marinette. Like, you could literally look at any Adriennette scene from any season, and you can tell that he's been in love with her and that he's been falling for her. His love for her is very obvious and very prominent in like every Adriennette scene. And same goes with Ladybug towards Cat Noir. The whole show has been about the development of her feelings towards him. Season 5 is just the season of them realizing their feelings, not gaining those feelings. Which, side rant, is one of the reasons why I hate when people say that there hasn't been any development towards any of the ships, because there most certainly has. I feel like people just don't really tend to look at that stuff and notice it. Like, if you look back at season 1, you could tell that Ladybug wasn't that interested in Cat Noir and Adrien wasn't that interested in Marinette. I mean, obviously they've definitely always kind of been in love with each other and always had feelings, but they definitely were not as strong and as prominent as they are now. And as the show is progressing, you can see their feelings getting stronger and stronger for the other person. And I don't know, I just think that if people were to really look into the show, they would probably be able to see a lot more. And I feel like it's probably that I notice it because I tend to be a person that looks into things way too much and overanalyzes stuff, which is not always a good thing, but for Miraculous it is, especially being a content creator, because I tend to notice things and I can share it with you guys. But anyway, my point is that there's been a lot of development and no one can really see it because they don't look into it as much as I do, and probably a few other people do. Not saying that it's really that hard to notice, but I mean, it can be a bit hard if you don't really think about it and look into it. And, you know, speaking from personal experience, I've been a Miraculous creator for well over a year, and I've noticed that there's just a ton of things that people don't notice. But moving on with the love score reverse, I kind of want to quickly give you guys some background information about the love score reverse. So the whole idea of the love score reverse was originated by some stupid thing that Thomas said. Basically, he said that the love square would be reversing in season 4, and ever since that, people have just been stuck on it because apparently anything Thomas says is correct and is 100% accurate, you know, like the whole Cat Noir dying in season 4 thing. Which, if I'm being honest, I think that Thomas said what he said on purpose, and I think the timing of when he said it was also on purpose, because if you guys really think about it, he said the love square is reversing in season 4, right? But in my opinion, season 4 was the season to show us exactly why the love square reverse is not happening and never will happen. Because Cat Noir was put through a lot last season, and more specifically Ladybug put him through a lot last season. Unintentionally, obviously, not trying to hate on Ladybug. She didn't know what she was doing was hurting him, and then the second she found out about everything, she made sure to do everything she could so that way he wouldn't feel that way again. But anyway, because of everything that happened, he went through a lot of pain last season, and even after all of that, after everything that she put him through, he was still in love with Ladybug. Like, if you felt like you were being mistreated by the person you were in love with, to me, it would probably be a pretty big reason why you did get over them. So the fact that even though he went through all that, he's still in love with her, clearly shows that this boy will never ever, and I mean ever, get over her. At the end of the day, he never once got over her. And like, if you take a look at Codoneko, Plagg basically said something about Cat Noir erasing Ladybug from his heart, and then it goes to Adrien deleting a bunch of pictures off of his phone of Ladybug, and Adrien deletes all of them except for one picture. He goes to delete the last picture, but he doesn't. He never does. And why? Because he can't erase her from his heart. A little part of him will always love her. Not to mention, after Plagg says something about Cat Noir erasing her from his heart, Ladybug says, "Do you think he's capable of that?" And then that's when it goes to Adrien deleting the picture. So based off of what Ladybug says, they're basically insinuating that he's not capable of erasing her from his heart. Also insinuating that this boy, once again, is never going to get over Ladybug. And literally in Glossiator 2, he said, "I wish I could fall in love with someone else, but I can't. She's just so amazing." I don't know if that's the exact quote, but he said something like that. clearly indicating that this boy is never getting over her. And I feel like for a lot of people, it just went in one ear and then out the other, because like even after all that, people still thought the reverse was happening. Like, come on guys, use your brain, please. So like my question for everyone who thought the reverse was happening, what about MIRACULOUS changes that? What about MIRACULOUS coming into the picture makes him all of a sudden get over her? Like, no, it's not possible. The only reason it may kind of seem like he's over her is because in Glossator 2, she said she didn't want him flirting with her and he respects her boundaries, and so he stopped the second that she said something about it. So now he's kind of backed off, but just because he's backed off, that doesn't mean that he doesn't have feelings for her. And honestly, same goes for MIRACULOUS. She kept trying to get over Adrian, especially at the beginning of season 4, more specifically in Mr. Pigeon 72, but no matter how many times she tried to get over Adrian, she just couldn't. And also, not only in season 4, but also in the New York special, she said that she was over him, she was trying to convince herself that she was over him, but it just wasn't possible. So does MIRACULOUS getting over Adrian exist? No. Does Cat Noir getting over Ladybug exist? Absolutely not. But you know what does exist? Them convincing themselves that they don't. And what I mean by that is, like, they are probably going to continuously convince themselves that they're not in love with the other person and they're just in love with the other person. So like, I feel like Adrian's probably going to convince himself that he doesn't like Ladybug anymore and he just likes MIRACULOUS, but in reality he still has those feelings. And same with MIRACULOUS. For a short amount of time in season 5, she's probably going to convince herself that she doesn't love Adrian anymore and she just likes Cat Noir. But then I think something might happen that makes them realize that they are still in love with the other person. This is more of just a theory, but I was thinking, if Ladybug realizes she's in love with Cat Noir and maybe starts to kind of go after him, maybe her going after him is what makes Adrian still realize that he's in love with her. And then maybe same goes with Adrianette too. Like, MIRACULOUS will start to see that the second she kind of gave up, Adrian started going after her, and so maybe him going after her makes her realize that she is still in love with him. So I guess what I'm saying is that there may be a time in season 5 where it seems like the love square did actually reverse, but in reality it didn't, because you can't just change your feelings just like that. So yes, technically the love square reverse does exist, but not in the way that people believe it to exist or kind of think about it. Like I said over and over again, Cat Noir will not be getting over Ladybug and MIRACULOUS will not be getting over Adrian, which, like I said, is exactly what's wrong with the love square reverse, because the love square reverse basically means that we're taking what the love square was in season 1 and we're flipping it. So now Cat Noir just likes MIRACULOUS and he doesn't like Ladybug, and MIRACULOUS just likes Cat Noir and she doesn't like Adrian. Which, like I said, is false because they don't stop loving the other person. So it's not really a love square reverse or a love square flip. It's more like a love square redirection. If that even makes sense. Because the main person that they're going after is changing, but obviously they don't lose feelings for anyone, which, if the love square reverse were to happen, it would completely defeat the purpose of the reveal, because I feel like a lot of people that believe the love square is reversing are the same people that got so upset when Adrian only dated MIRACULOUS because she was Ladybug and Cat Blanc. So if the love square reverse happened and then the reveal happened during the time that the love square reversed, that basically brings us back to square one, where Adrian would only be dating Ladybug because she was MIRACULOUS, which defeats the purpose of the reveal, because the point of the reveal is that, take Adrian for an example, he's just so in love with MIRACULOUS and he's also so in love with Ladybug, so now he doesn't really know who to choose. He doesn't know what he wants and he's just so confused because he's like, you can't be in love with two people at the same time. And then the reveal happens and then he realizes, oh wait, they're the same person, so I don't really have to choose. And same with MIRACULOUS. So when you really think about it, we don't even want a love square reverse. It literally does nothing. It makes it so there's no development in the show whatsoever, or there's no development within the love square at all. Defeats the purpose of the love square reveal. Like, it's just, I just think it just ruins what we've already created, like the development that we've already had.